If you're running an underground buried downspout system and your yard is completely flat, no slope, you're going to hold water in that line. So you want to add knife cut to the end of that line. That's a solid pipe that has cuts in it. It's not a perforated pipe. It doesn't have material removed. It just has cuts in a solid pipe. You want to have a sock over it. That's that white thing that you see, so that dirt doesn't get inside it. And you want to connect it with a really good connector to a solid pipe. This connector will not come apart. You can't pull it apart. It has 8 barbs that just hook in. They're spring loaded. All right, so you want your solid pipe ran up to an inline catch basin. The reason why you want an inline catch basin, there's a lot of shingle gravel that comes off your roof. You don't want that to collect and build up in the pipe. So instead, you want to catch it in a good inline catch basin. Now, always put fabric underneath it and then a pocket of stone between the fabric and your catch basin. You're going to have some small holes that you drill in your catch basin. That way, after the rain and all the bulk water has been moved, the little bit that's left in that catch basin can slowly leach into the subsurface soil. Then you want to build your pop-up emitter like a little dry well. You want to have a bottomless pop-up, preferably in a case like this where your yard is really flat. And you just, again, put the drainage fabric under it and fill it with drainage stone. Nice pocket of drainage stone around that bottomless pop-up. That way, any water that's left in that pop-up after a rain event can slowly leach into the subsurface soil. Now, work together as a team on this. You want to make sure that your riser to your vented cleanout is nice and straight. Take the small pieces of clay, not the real big chunks, but take the small pieces of clay. They're going to pack better here for you. If you have to take a shovel and cut up the big clumps to make some smaller pieces of clay, we highly recommend it. You're going to be just fighting with the large chunks of clay. So the men are chopping up the clay. They're doing their very best to make these big pieces smaller. Run your downspout far away from the house. The farther, the better. On the flat yards, it really makes a difference to get out farther. Usually, if you go out far enough, you'll find a little bit of drop, even on those really flat yards. And again, you want a strong pop-up emitter that lawnmowers are not going to drive over and crack. And you want a pop-up emitter that the grass is not going to grow over and just make it disappear. And then you're not going to be able to discharge your water. And when you can't daylight your water, because that's what that means, it comes to daylight, you end up with the water cascading over the gutter downspout right near the foundation of the house. Pull your sock up over this coupler. That way you're not going to end up with any dirt in that knife cut pipe. You can see the guys are working really hard at trying to get this clay packed in. There's a few tricks that we can talk about here as far as what the guys are doing. Yes, they're chopping up all the big pieces in the smaller pieces, but there's something else that you're going to see that the guys do. And it really, really is, I think, so important. When you have moisture in this clay, and it's not dry where it just breaks up into small pieces or powders up for you. It's sticky, it's gummy. Take a 10-pound sledgehammer, chop up the pieces in smaller chunks, and then work as a team. Somebody can chop up the big pieces in the smaller chunks, put them in the trench, pack it really good, and then somebody can take a 10-pound sledgehammer and just work it. This is truly... You're looking at two of the very best, doing a beautiful job on this install. Here, I'm going to slow this down just a little bit so you can see that 10-pound sludge, and you can see the work the guys did. Once the grass roots into the surface, it won't be bumpy like you think it will be. Now, vent the basin in a case like this. If your downspout ends up frozen up, you can vent it at the house here on the vented cleanout. This catches the leaves too, so you want to grab the leaves in the fall and clean them out so they don't plug the line. But you want to be able to vent it here in case the line freezes. If the pop-up freezes downstream, you want to vent it at that inline catch basin. So that's why that had a 4-inch grate in it. It was vented. If you found any of this helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video.